which means that you get some customer acquisition for those that didn't already have an account, and they then the estate pays out to those guys, and they start with what's called the convenience claims, which are the plebs, like under 50K. The big boys, there's ongoing fights and ongoing appeals, and some guys that are just like wasting years holding on. I decided, let me just get out at par. I didn't have outside of the equity and the mega serum and stuff. Like I didn't have like crypto as a creditor. It was just USD. So I felt like, okay, at par, given the time value of money and the opportunity cost, it was smarter for me to dump my claim and the other claims that I speculated on near par, and then use that to buy Bitcoin. And so I've earned way more than if I were to hold out and get an official payout, and then I avoid the whole U.S. tax form fill out shit. And,
yeah. So you obviously, like you said, you guys were sharing hugs before this all went down. Like
2 months before, he wanted me to join the team running the product at FTX. And he wanted me to fuck Caroline, and was fucking. It just was. I was just like, no, something.
Dude, I would have said
There's something weird going on, but not. So that was like a yellow flag, not red flag. Of like, I didn't think like, oh, this guy's a massive scammer and stuff. This is a fucking weirdo. But he's a money machine, so I'm gonna stick with the winner.
And obviously, like him like very personally, if he's asking you to fuck his girlfriend, like,
I was advisor on Serum. Like, we like ideated Serum and putting central order book on chain. That's how I knew that. Once everyone decided that Solana was the right layer one to build. Like the FTX on chain in the form of Serum. That's why I knew Solana was going to blow up, and gave the guarantee to everybody that like if you lose money, I will pay for your loss, because I knew what was going on. And we also remember when OKX had withdrawal issues, when Star was getting the CCP timeout. We created an IOU market, and myself, Daniela from Tether, and SPF, we developed this basically like prediction market where people that wanted to get liquidity could get liquidity by utilizing the OKX, similar to Bitcoin Builder and Mt. Gox, where you can still do internal transfers, but you couldn't withdraw out. So we had a custodian which had an account on OKX, and people that wanted to generate IOU tokens to sell would transfer the funds over, and we would mint coins on Serum that reflected the IOUs, and people could buy them up and redeem via the custodian. So that was a project. I worked on him worked with him on that. Plus Serum in general, just like because we were discussing the inefficiencies of AMMs, auto market makers, like Uniswap and stuff, that like it was just toxic flow, and this impermanent loss is just a euphemism for getting fucked in the ass because you are passive liquidity that's getting arbed out, and that the central order book market is the best price discovery mechanism, and then that we need to find a way to do that, trustlessly on chain, and Ethereum wasn't able to do that, and him and the team talked to Algorand and all kinds of other layer ones to figure out like where can this be built, and then we had a meeting with Anatoly of Solana, and he went on about how like he wanted to have an L1 that could do Nasdaq level transactions on chain, and that's when Solana was chosen.
Yeah.
So, and then I was advisor on Serum. I had multiple MSRMs, which were on a vesting schedule, but we're still stakeable, and you get liquid rewards that I was dumping. So I still like the investment that I put in on that. I actually profited because of that, but the paper value, uh, given the rounds of financing that they did, and whatever it was, 30, 40 billion. It's weird to like, on your screen it shows tens of millions that of supposed value, and it just poof goes away. In addition to the equity, of course, right? Like it's totally
Yeah.
wiped out.
Yeah. And for the guys listening in here that maybe new or whatever, like Swapman touched on it before, like he guaranteed Solana, as in I think the price of it was like, I don't know, $1,
Yeah,
between one and
it was, it was around a
$2.
dollar. It was around a dollar, and I told the whole community to buy Solana, and after some months, if anyone experienced any losses, that I would cover the losses.
He would
Guaranteed.
backstop anyone who lost anything.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously
But so I
Solana at a
wasn't
dollar is a bargain.
I obviously wasn't telling the whole story, like all these details that I'm saying now. I didn't
Yeah.
provide that transparency, but I did open the door to the community to basically take advantage of it.
Yeah. And what do you think? Like, if you could, like I was saying before, like you knew this guy very personally. He's offering for you to fuck his girlfriend. Like that's how personally you knew him. Like, what do you think he'd say if you were like, bro, like what the fuck? Like how? Like what? What do you
No,
think this piece of shit would fucking
he's
say?
convinced. He convinced himself that it was just a illiquidity issue and not an insolvency issue, and
Yeah.
that yes, he was running deeply negative balance for Alameda, and yes, he was creating incentives for projects and individuals to park funds on there to prevent a run. But he's like, I mean, he made great investments in Anthropic and other things, which just had these time locks and stuff that if only there was time to wait it out, everyone would have been fine. So his defense is, and I have the link. If you, it's 50 page long. His appeal. I'll post it in the box in a second. So this defense boils down to like, hey, I was forced into bankruptcy by people that didn't understand that it was actually a liquidity problem, which for students of the 2008 financial crisis, or even the long-term capital management stuff. Like it's the same story that they overlevered in the short run, and that's a form of fraud. Where you just say, "Oh, if only there was a bit more time, that value would have matched up." Um, so I think he might have convinced himself of that, but I think that he's similar to Eisenberg, the Mango hacker. I think he's part of that dark autism. Like there's evil autists that I think that they're psychopaths that know really what they're doing and are able to just put up a facade that it duped me, it duped Zane and others that have good otherwise good instincts. And there's other big firms which I won't mention, other than Multicoin, because that's public knowledge, but others that were very, very street smart, very, very wise, that got duped. And yeah, I feel very shameful and dishonored by it. I was in a trance of some sort with all the imaginary money.
Yeah, and the offer to fuck Caroline on the table. Who could resist?
Well, I could. I said no, thank you, as they were fucking blowing amphetamine lines. Like, they were a fucking crazy bunch. And then when it happened,
I knew about it at the time that you were in there. I would have been like, "Yo, hook Bitcoin Viper up. I'll come along."
she probably would be a great fuck, actually. Like the
No,
ugly
not
chicks.
that. I'm talking about
Ugly chicks. They put in the
you
work.
meet Tom Brady.
Well, I mean, ugly chicks. They put in the work, right? They make up for their fucking ugliness by they suck a good dick. They fuck good.
Yeah, they make up for their ugliness by being, kind of wild.
Yeah,
Bad.
bro. Just money, just going to the club, like bottle service, sluts everywhere, fucking money being thrown around.
No, they weren't like that. No. This is all in in their fucking stupid penthouse thing. It was weird. There was like a dozen people there, maybe 20 even, that was outside of the corporate complex where they had the offices. So, but it was like communal kind of living, and it was just super weird. I thought I was just surrounded by bizarre, autistic, brilliant people that were money machines, and I just I didn't, and they were getting all these licenses and audits, and I just kind of assumed, well, shit, certainly those independent audits of regulators would have sniffed out such a problem. So I didn't even think to that he would be doing that. In hindsight, obviously there were obvious red flags. Like the guy was super spun out in terms of no sleep and just being on speed, like crazy amounts of amphetamine and other uppers. The guy was fucking shaking and buzzing on interviews, clearly fucked up, and everyone was just like, "Oh, that's just autistic behavior." In hindsight, it's like, come on, they didn't even have a fucking CFO or anything monitoring the books. The board was just him, Gary, and Shad, and Caroline.
And I'm sure I know your answer to this, but like in hindsight, you look back, like was he worthy? Like was his intelligence
Oh, he was
worthy?
super intelligent. The guy was super
Yeah.
intelligent and made meaningful contributions to the evolution of crypto projects and stuff. Very meaningful. But there was a lot, all you know. There's also a lot of fraudulent activity going on behind the scenes. We had multiple long debates about things varying from the utility uh, curve of individuals, where the I argued that there's kind of a log or inverse kind of function of wealth and individual utility. Like there's only so many, houses and boats and shit that you can get. Like once you've hit certain milestones, like the first million feels great. Then the first 10 million feels great. But each additional million from there, it's like meh. Uh, that's like in my view, kind of just the psychology of individuals. He took a view that like if you were an effective altruist, and you know you could use your wealth and derive utility from giving it away and helping the world for good, that you would not have a inverse or log function of um, wealth to utility, but in fact an exponential one, because you can the more money you make, the more you can fix the world. So you'd be just voraciously acquiring wealth for the good of the world. And so this effective altruism cult that he was a part of, that I, you know, wasn't a member or wasn't like fully on board, but I did talk with a lot of them, and yeah, I argued that this is not how humans work. Humans are
Selfish.
that the humans are irrational and selfish, um, and then we debated also market structure and liquidity and like, how markets operate and price discovery, and that's where we agreed on like AMMs being just a hack that Ethereum put together for enabling markets and price discovery, but in a highly inefficient manner, where having the ability to let people just put bids and offers in an open central order book, like that is the best. The problem is that over uh, 90 plus percent of orders that are created in such a system are cancelled. Like you're constantly updating prices as a market maker, so you're flashing liquidity, and then based on new data from other things, you cancel those orders and replace new ones. All those things are individual transactions, and Solana's throughput was the only layer one where it like had a chance. And so I got an Serum, and then Mango took it a step further, and those guys did initially like a really good kind of like FTX on chain, which there was a huge fight between Mango people and SPF, where saying like no, you should be contributing to Serum evolving that way, and instead of just like using Serum as one way to source liquidity. SPF was really pissed, and then so yeah, we had long discussions intellectually on things where I thought he was authentic and conceded points where he was wrong, and I just didn't know the whole thing was a fucking fraud with Alameda and FTX and how they were just able to provide great prices and great liquidity by just eating shit and getting picked off by Witchabute and others that were smart and basically saying like these prices don't make sense and that level of liquidity it just doesn't make sense how they can make money and it made sense because they allowed Alameda to just run negative balances and obviously that wasn't visible or verifiable by anyone.
Yeah, everyone thought they were just fucking printing money, making amazing trades, best fucking company in the world. Fucking these guys just printing money, and they weren't. They're just fucking dumping everybody's fucking Bitcoin and for using it for their shitcoin farm and fucking flashing the cash. They're fucking idiots.
Yeah, well, to be fair, they were revenue generating, but they were loss making. So you can generate revenue, but your profits can be like shit, right?
Yeah.
Because they were just providing ridiculously tight liquidity on markets and just letting it go negative, and then to avoid runs on the assets that were not backed, they would just highly incentivize people to park their money on FTX. So people were not wanting to pull off. People were holding. I know lots of people that were holding like 50 plus million in FTX's custody. These were projects that FTX also helped launch, and they would say, "Oh, just park the money that you raised with us." So they were operating as a shadow bank. They were a centralized database, creating fictitious money to people, and in the back office, they were using that money to do all kinds of shit and letting the Alameda market making arm of the group just eat shit. Uh, so I was very naive, and I knew not to trust, that kind. Um, but yeah, but I thought. But I thought that like in the discussions that he was intellectually like authentic, but no, he was like really fucked up and degenerate.
Yeah. Bro, it's 3:30 in the morning. I gotta go to work tomorrow. Thank you for sharing. I have about 10 more questions I want to ask. But I'm bugged. Good night, gentlemen. Cheers, Swapman.
All right.
So what about the legal actions against you?
That's how we know Viper's gay. Because he just loves to suck that fucking dick.
And that's how we know he's gay.
Plus all those homophobic fucking positions he takes all the time.
Is Eddie dead?
Eddie's dead. He's dead. Probably the stress and pressure of fucking holding on to his Jesus coin didn't help.
Yeah, he was a kind soul.
Dude, my friend messaged me today that this guy I used to buy weed from him, and he knew him a lot better than me for the last 4 years. He died, 41 years old, heart attack.
And he wasn't like an Adam Gerber's fucking morbidly obese
No,
character.
no. I mean, it's a little bit, a little bit of a heavy dad bod, but nothing like obese.
Makes you wonder, once you're in the 40s, you could just fucking drop dead anytime.
Yeah.
Tick tock, tick tock.
Dripping life away like Bitcoin.
Okay, I get it. You're not allowed to talk about the legal actions.
What do you mean?
The legal actions against you.
No, I can't discuss, ongoing matters against me. No.
Eddie was 60, not 40.
No, that I didn't kill Eddie. If that's what you're getting.
Flipper was talking about different person sleep. Lay off the weed, bro. You're getting confused. Good morning, people. Or good evening, depending on time zone.